one hero in each role that is completely misunderstood by, I would even say, the majority of the player base. Because I don't see D.Va being played appropriately, usually up until Diamond. Bronze, Silver, Gold, almost entirely D.Va mains don't know what they're doing. And a lot of Plat Divas don't either. And so what we're going to do today, chat, is we're going to talk about 3 heroes that I think are fundamentally misunderstood. And we're going to start off with D.Va, okay? What does this Bronze, Silver, Gold, and even Platinum D.Va do? You guys know the answer to this, right? Let me demonstrate. But they'll do this at this range. Look at the damage, y'all. And Zarya murders them. And they just get demacked, and they get demacked, and they get demacked. And this happened a lot in Overwatch 1 as well. Everybody remembers this, right? The D.Va players just didn't know how to play. They would just frontline, demacked, die. Frontline, demacked, die. When you play D.Va like this, you will die. When you just shoot frontline versus a Reinhardt, Roadhog, Zarya, unless you're at point blank range and that Zarya doesn't have bubbles, the Junker Queen doesn't have shout, you will die. You will die. That is not what your hero is good at. With Winston, there's somehow this dynamic of like, you should dive, and so people don't know how to dive, but they at least try to, right? They're like, okay, I don't want, if I'm playing Winston, that's not what I wanted. If I'm playing Winston, right, I know that I don't want to fight Zarya or Roadhog, I think. You still see it. You still see it, guys, all the time. But at least there's more of an attempt to dive and create a split and get onto squishies. But D.Va players, man, they don't know how to do it. They just sit in the front line. And I don't know if it's just because like big chunky D.Va, but what ends up happening is that these D.Va mains, and I'm not even exaggerating, in Overwatch 1 and now in Overwatch 2, they just survive off of this. The fact that the hero has an unbelievable amount of matrix and HP, which allows you to do this a little bit more, and then here's what happens. The fight devolves, they either get demacked or they get to 1 HP. The fight devolves, they manage to somehow fly and get value and kill a squishy at some point, or they do what a lot of D.Va players I've worked with before, they don't do anything until they get bomb, they throw the bomb in, and because it's Bronze, Silver, Gold, they kill 2 people, and so they've been dead weight the previous fight, but this fight they win with bomb. Dead weight, bomb. Dead weight, bomb. Dead weight, bomb. Over and over and over again. And they win just enough games to place right where they're at, right? They get enough value. But chat, that's not what D.Va is good at. D.Va is not a frontline warrior unless, especially in the tank war. D.Va's best role is saying, oh, there's a squishy DPS over here. There's a support taking off angle here. I'm going to then dive that target because I can beat any squishy 1v1 in the game handily. It's not even close. Very similar to Monkey. But the difference between D.Va and Monkey, is D.Va can do it more rapidly. She's not as good at Monkey as securing those kills. Bubble is better than Matrix in a 1v1, but she can do it more often. And again and again and again and again. Let's look at it right now. Booster, 4 seconds instead of 5 seconds. Matrix, all my Matrix is gone. Let's see how long it takes to charge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 seconds. And my Matrix, and there's your monkey bubble, right? Charge right back up again. So what she is better at is she is better at rapidly taking engagements and contesting off angles and creating space that way. She doesn't want to spend her whole time shooting and standing in frontline in main. You literally play D.Va like Genji. Similar, yes. And the thing with D.Va, chat, is she is a close range hero. So that doesn't mean you shoot frontline, but it means you need to utilize high ground and off angles to get to close range, to close the distance. If you're playing D.Va like this, especially if we make this a hero with a smaller hitbox, you just do no damage, y'all. You just do no damage. And you get toasted. And that's the problem that so many D.Vas mess up. They don't get close enough to the squishies, and when they do, they usually just run directly at them. No sense of nuance, no sense of taking high ground off angles, nothing like this. Player. And I'm not blaming the lower ranks for being idiots, guys. This isn't done to mock them at all. It's not very intuitive all the time. Speaking of unintuitive, let's go on to the DPS that's misunderstood the most, okay? Look at this. What is Reaper good at, chat? Here's the hot take. You guys ready? Now, this is not 100% true, but this I want you to think about it. Reaper is not a tank counter. He's not. He might have been in Overwatch 1. He wasn't as much as people thought he was, but he might have been in Overwatch 1. But he is not solely a tank buster. He's actually worse at it. Reaper, okay, chat. Here's the thing. I don't know if Reaper can beat most tanks in a 1v1. I'm fairly certain he loses to Reinhardt, almost positively loses to Reinhardt. He definitely loses to D.Va. He 100% Orisa destroys him. I'm pretty sure he loses to Junker Queen. He loses to Sigma. He loses to Wrecking Ball, maybe. Wrecking Ball, he could maybe deal with Wrecking Ball. The Winston matchup isn't good anymore because he's got more HP in his bubble. Reaper does less damage, but has a tighter spread, but does less damage, and Winston can zap from range to poke him out even now. So yeah, maybe can deal with Junker Queen. I think Reaper does pretty well against Doomfist, but I think you could still theoretically lose. So you do okay against Wrecking Ball Doomfist. He gets smashed by Orisa. Reinhardt, he gets smashed by Sigma. You can't beat a Roadhog. You can't kill him fast enough. He gets smashed by D.Va. Junker Queen is tough. Zarya is really tough. Zarya with 2 bubbles, you don't beat a Zarya with 2 bubbles. It just doesn't happen. This is the problem, chat. Even people that played Overwatch 1 don't understand what Reaper is good at. And this is the danger. You're going to pick Reaper. You're going to go into Reinhardt for whoever reason is not shielding. Chat, look at that. Look at that. That is pathetic. Pathetic. Look at that. 5 shots, point blank range, every pellet on the head. Look at this. Pathetic. So then what is Reaper good at? Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to get in, let's go to paint. You're going to get in your ranked games, right? And they're going to pick Reaper. Reaper. Ooh, right? Reaper's a good hero. And they're going to see the Reinhardt, Junkrat, let's just say the tank, okay? Junkrat, I say. The Junker Queen, the tank. And they're going to stick their fat, ugly face. They're going to frontline. They're going to run in front of the battlefield, frontline fodder, and go... You like my socks, y'all? Right? And what's going to happen? 2 things. They're going to die. Or they're going to Wraith, and they're going to die a few seconds later because they're too stupid to play slow until they get the Wraith back again. Then what Reaper is good at is he's actually a really good short-ranged hero. He's a really good short-range flanker. Now let me explain what I mean. Now most of you guys in chat are pretty smart, so you already know what I mean, but let's say for those of you guys who don't know. So if I'm playing tank, okay? I'm a Reinhardt. And I've got a Reinhardt on the enemy team. Now, we are fighting each other. Let's say the enemy, this is the enemy backline, which is blue for some reason, and then my backline, which is red for some reason. We're gonna mix it up a little bit. And I've got this Reaper. This is the Reaper guy here. Let's black for lore appropriate reasons. Okay, so he's edgelord, right? If my Reaper's inside of me and shooting the enemy Reinhardt, I'm not too unhappy, right? At least he's not playing in front of my shield, right? He's using my shield, he's using my presence, he's getting good, maybe he's getting good, pretty good tank pressure, things like that. But then what's actually funny is if my Reinhardt, if I'm red Reinhardt and I drop my shield, if this is a Sojourn, or this is a Junkrat, or this is an Onanade, or this is a Zenyatta Discord, then all of a sudden this Reaper's life is... right? There's a lot of crap. And his Wraith will get forced pretty quickly. Because if this Reinhardt walks forward and swings his hammer, and the Zenyatta gets 1 Discord and 1 body shot on the Reaper, he's going to be less than half HP instantly. and he's going to have to Wraith, and then he has to Wraith, and then he has to play slow. And if he doesn't play slow, then the next time the Reinhardt swings, he gets a Discord on him, he actually dies. So this, even in a best case scenario for Reaper, playing frontline all the time, it doesn't always play super good. Now, there are some metas like Zarya Reaper in Overwatch League where the Reaper plays more like a main tank, but that's when he's getting all the resources, double bubble, things like that. So those exceptions we're going to put aside for right now, okay? So then let me give you guys a different scenario. Let's say the Reaper instead is able to use the architecture of the map and either walk or TP and find access to a short range sightline on a squishy. Listen, on a squishy. If this hero can get close to a Zenyatta or an Ana or a Sojourner or Junkrat, you will cause chaos because you can kill them quickly. If we pivot back to Overwatch, now before you guys start saying, oh, but he loses the Junkrat in a 1v1, actually, you'll understand what I'm talking about in just a second. Hang on. Body shots. I'm aiming at his core. Even this range. Look at that. That's a lot of pressure. That's you're doing better versus squishies, shockingly, than you are versus tanks. And think about it this way. Think about it realistically. If you as Reaper are able to get to this, where are these blue X's looking at when you're pressuring this? They are no longer looking at your Rein, they're looking at you. A lot of attention on you. Help, 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 Reaper! Ah! Right? And then what does that mean for the poor Reinhardt? You guys in chat already know the answer. He doesn't get healing. He doesn't get damage. Your Reinhardt takes 0 damage. This Reinhardt dies. Or you guys force him to run away and you guys get a lot of space. And then what does it cost you? What does it cost you? It costs you your teleporter. And it costs you your Wraith back to cover. You get healed up and you do it again. Because chat, this is the thing. Reaper isn't even that great of a 1v1 hero. If you're good with your aim, he's pretty good. But it's not the fact that he can get to the back line. Because technically, you could do this exact thing, same thing with a Cassidy. You could do this with like a Zen. You could do this with, I mean, let's keep thinking. You could do this with a Junkrat, right? You could do this with a Junkrat. But what's the difference between Reaper and these guys got, right? If a Cassidy gets on your back line, he has a pretty high chance of killing somebody. Same thing with Zenyatta. Same thing with a Junkrat. But what's the difference, chat? This is crucial. Yes, mobility. Reaper can get out. Reaper can go in greedily, and whereas these characters cannot get out safely, Reaper can. Reaper, TP on a high ground, TP on an off angle, TP on a flank, drop down, oh shoot, they're shooting me, and look how far you can get. They've buffed it. Reaper Wraith used to be a lot slower. You guys remember that? It's a lot faster now. It allows you to get in and out a lot safer. Yes, a lot like D.Va. Close range hero that's good to take control of high grounds and off angles to pressure backline. And like D.Va has the mobility to go in and out in cycles. And whereas most Reapers are going to sit in the front line shooting the tanks and not doing a whole lot, if you're able to utilize your short sight lines. Now, I don't want to flank with Reaper and see this. They're gonna sneeze in your general direction and force your Wraith. But if you can get closer and still be able to Wraith back to cover or corner or to healing, then you're gonna have a great time. And that's what Reaper's good at. Short, tight, sightline flanks. But Brig, in my opinion, is the most misunderstood character in Overwatch 2, and not only Overwatch 2, but towards the second half of her lifespan in Overwatch 1 as well. Now, when you guys select Brig as a bronze, silver, gold, or even a platinum player, what do you think is Brig good at? Pretend you're new, pretend you're not super experienced, pretend you've not sat into my streams. What, you look at the hero, what is this hero good at, chat? You guys tell me. Brawling. You stack with the tank, you brawl. You've got a shield, you've got a flail, you're wearing armor, you've got a 50, you actually have armor, right? You actually have legitimate armor. Frontline, obvious. Plugged up your Reinhardt's butt. AoE healing, stun the enemy tank, right? But what's the problem, chat? What's the problem? They dive your support, right? So then what happens is if they're playing dive, we'll pull up the oh my gosh, this looks like a madman scroll. Okay, let's say they pull up they're playing the dive here, right? And your little Brig here, and then your backline's back here, and you're up with your Reinhardt, and that Winston jumps your backline, and that Genji jumps your backline, and that Tracer jumps your backline, or flanks onto your backline, and yeah, you're smacking something, all right? You're not peeling. You're not peeling your backline, because Brig is a peeler and an enabler of her squishies. Her kit, whether it's the whip shot, the bash, the armor packs, are better served helping her squishies survive and helping herself survive than they are helping her tanks survive. Because here's the thing, chat. Very similar to Reaper and very similar to Diva, if you play frontline and you've got an enemy Reinhardt swinging on you as Brig, you are going to die. This is no longer initial release Brig. You don't have a stun. You don't have as much armor. You don't heal yourself for as much. You're going to die. You will get swung on, you'll get spammed, and you will die. You are better served playing in a way where, let's adjust you here, where you can, as your DPS take angles or flanks or push up or take high ground, you can play here either with the DPS stacked with them or packing them from afar and then using your whip shot to stop dive threats like Winston, Ball, Reaper, Genji, Tracer, Sombra, and so on from getting close to your delightful, beloved squishies. Will, thank you for the sub. And then as the fight goes on, if you see the opportunity to push something, you can. You see, here's the thing, chat. Brig is pretty good at brawling, but she's pretty good at brawling squishies. If Brig gets on top of this delightful training bot, that training bot dies. If that Brig gets on top of an Ana or an Ashe, Sojourn, Genji, she doesn't automatically win, but she has an advantage. Correct? Like, I mean, we can go down the cast here. A Bastion, a little tricky, a little scary. But I'd rather be closer to a Bastion if I have my cooldowns than I would be further away, right? But as soon as you change that hero to a... Oh, no. Stay away from me. Because that hero's going to break your shield instantly. Right? And that's the catch with Brig. It's not you're looking to protect and peel your backline and DPS and then potentially push squishies on the enemy team. But you have to look for opportunities to do that. You cannot stack with your tank and play frontline because you're going to get absolute turbo stomped, or you're not going to protect the people that you need to be protecting. Brig is a shield maiden in the fact that she defends her backline and allows them to play aggressively. Armor pack is OP, not OP, but it is strong because you can do this from a distance. I'm going to help this training bot survive and pack those. And if this training bot pushes, I'm going to knock it away, proc my Inspire for people around me. And then, oh no, if I'm at risk of danger, if I'm dying, I can bash away. You see that? The Brig bash buff was to allow her to survive without stunning. Now, you could argue about whether it was a good change or about whether Brig needs buffs. I would argue that Brig isn't a very strong hero right now. I would agree with that, okay? But it's leaning towards a playstyle that people don't understand. And then, okay, we get Rally. Okay, maybe their tank has used cooldowns. Maybe their tank is low. Maybe I could push a squishy now. Now we can go full shield maiden mode. You can brawl as Brig. You just have to earn it. And it has to be on the right targets at the right time. And that's the key. That's the key. Outside of that, if you can hold high ground with the DPS and allow that DPS to play the OP position, you guys just saw the Lucio VOD review, right? A Brig with a DPS is really hard to clear out. You can't just put a Genji on it. You can't just dive a Winston with it, can you? It's really hard. She can boop you away when you try to dive. She can proc Inspire and armor pack the target. She can shield the target. She does okay damage at close range. Like, if I'm a Reaper And I'm trying to pressure the squishies like we just talked about, right? But that Brig just whip shots me? That's 70 damage. That's knocking me away from the range. And then that's it. That killed my entire push. A whip shot. Or even if the Reaper gets close and I'm just able to shield dance a little bit, swing a little bit, proc my Inspire, that completely ruins his push. And that's the thing with Brig. That's the thing with Brig. Now, you're going to... Do you notice a common theme, chat? What's the common theme between Reaper, or I guess Diva, Reaper, and Brig? They're all heroes that fool you or encourage you to play frontline. But they are all heroes that do better by indirectly controlling space and looking to push in different ways. Diva can still push, but she likes to do from high ground off angles onto squishies. Reaper can still push. Same thing as Diva. Brig can still push. Same thing as Reaper. Or Diva or Brig, or heck, even Reaper, can play in a way to where they prevent you from pushing. More Diva Brig, right? Diva can also prevent you from pushing her squishies. Brig can also prevent you from pushing her squishies, but not by just standing and shooting in open space in a range that makes no sense. The hard thing with this video and with this stream and with this discussion is that I'm not going to be able to break down how to play each and every hero, exactly how they should be played, all the details, the full guide. I have videos on all of these heroes. There's other guides out there as well. But if nothing else, if I can make some of you guys in chat think about things a little bit differently, and at least stress test those off angles and flanks. Use Reaper's mobility and range. Don't just shoot tanks. Use Brig's peeling potential and armor packs. Don't just frontline with your Reaper and die off cooldown. If I can get you to at least think about those things and stress test those things, then I think that you're going to learn something. You might fail a lot because you don't fully understand what I'm talking about, but at least you're at least learning. You're going in the right direction, and that has to happen.